Hey guys, NV9095, and today I'm bringing you another video. What was it called? Another Black Ops 2 video. This time I'm actually doing some tips for competitive here, and I try to find these like exact same tips. Couldn't really find them, so it's actually how to play Hardpoint competitively. It's a GB match on Raid. It was part of the other Hardpoint GB match, but you don't really see too much of the gameplay because I do put the maps and the hardpoint locations on each. There's actually some anchoring spots, which I'll talk about later, on some of the maps, not all of them, because I haven't also played any of them. I'm not a pro, so I'm not going to be like, yeah, I know where all this is. So first, we actually are going to have Raid, when Raid shows up, which I'm playing on. So, Raid, as you can see, I added the fifth one in, because there is a fifth one. Don't have any anchor spots on this one. And so the first one is like directly in the middle, and you need to just get there first and control it. All this is about like controlling it. There's a lot you can do. I mean, this one you gotta move around a lot. You gotta make sure you have people anchoring in the right spots, which is anchoring is having someone in like a certain location so you spawn there and your team keeps spawning there, and you hold that position to make sure that you don't lose it. And if you lose it, it would be bad for the team, because you want to keep the spawns that you want. And so it's easiest way to get the location and also like get into the next location, which is one of the harder things to do, especially if you spawn on the other side. You can't, like, if you spawn where C is instead of where where 3 is instead of where 2 is, it's harder to get to 2 because they're spawning at 2 for right away. So if they set up an anchor there, they're going to keep spawning there. But also then you also then have 3 a lot better. And then the next map, which, because Raid is over, I did this pretty short. They're not that long. I give a little bit like stuff in between. I completely forget the order I put this in. There it is, standoff. Alright, I have anchor spots in there. Standoff, if you don't know, first one's in the middle. They're basically all in the middle for the first one. First one, I actually put, there's a gas station where the X is on the right. That's where I would think you should anchor, because, well, you shouldn't anchor there right away, but you anchor there eventually to get to 2. And once you do that, you can get good position, because you just walk around into the house and get to 1, and then you're also set up for 2 already. And then you also want to make sure you run at the right time. So if there's like 20 seconds left, you want to make sure you're heading over to the one that you don't have someone anchoring already at. So like, say if you're at 2, you have no one near 3, you run over there with like 20 seconds, send one of your guys over there, and then like 10 seconds the majority of your team goes, and leave kind of one guy behind, because those last 10 points aren't that big of a deal. And the second X on the left is the anchor for 3 and 4, and then you can kind of use it for 4 and 1. I wouldn't really suggest it, because you have to kind of come out and it's just not right. But when you're at 3, you want to get that X to get 4, because it's a lot easier, because the boxes over there make it a lot easier to kill them as they're coming towards you. And so yeah, it's pretty easy. And then the next one is Plaza. Plaza is a little harder, because there's really only 2 ways. I mean, because you spawn, one team spawns at 2, one team spawns at 4, and you both kind of run in to 1, and you want to make sure you get there first, because once you get there, it's really hard to get the person out, because there's head glitches in there. And especially if you're, I mean, whoever gets there first, you watch the other doorway, and you have one person watching the middle. I don't really know anchors on these, but I mean, you can figure the anchors out yourself. It's not too difficult, and I don't know, it's just pretty easy. And then, so 1 and 2 are pretty easy. 4 is a little harder. 4 is actually inside the building. 3 is really big, so you can contest that one really easily by staying on each side, because that means one team has to come across the other side to try to stop you, which makes it really difficult to try to do. And then 1 also, like I said, is really hard to get people out. 2 is not that hard to get out. 4 is not that hard to get people out, because there's windows and multiple ways to get in there. 3, there is multiple ways to get in there, but it's really easy to contest and stop people from getting other points. So that's one of the easier ones to contest. I don't know about many other ones, because there's a lot of ones that are really small, and you just kind of all get in there. You want to make sure you have the right kill streaks on, stuff like that, to get people out, like Hellstorm, Hunter Killer, some other stuff like that. And the next one is Hijacked. Hijacked has 2 big anchor spots. It's both spawns for 1 and 2. For if you spawn near 2, you want to keep that spawn while 1's going, and then you keep it at 2. because 3 is actually underground. It's kind of one of the worst locations. If you have it, there's like hardly any way you're getting someone out. So if you spawn on that side, you set, because if you run to 1, it's hard to get over there, and then you'll have 2, and then there's ladders down to 3, and then you want to send someone before 3 ends, because it's really hard to get them out of 4. If you were just in 3 and try and climb up the ladder, it's impossible. Not impossible, but you have to be a lot better than the other team for them to actually let you do it. And then so you want to keep 4 and like 4 and 1, and then just keep like switching anchor spots. This map's pretty easy, except getting 3 is hard, because usually if you have someone already in there and then your team comes down in there, you get like all 60 points or whatever. It is 60 because it's a minute long. So that's one of the harder ones. That's probably that, and Plaza 1 is pretty hard to get people out of. And I'm pretty sure all these maps are accurate. I know for sure Raid's accurate. That's the one I checked. I think the next one's Yemen. It is Yemen. Yemen, you really don't need to stay like too far out. You actually spawn on, one team spawns at 3 and one team spawns like to the right of 4, like all the way in the back. And you don't really realize it, but there's not really too much anchoring. You kind of want to stay around the area of 2, 5, and 3. Because 4's kind of far away, 1's right in the middle, 1's really easy to get people out of, you just kind of throw grenades and stuff. There's multiple routes to get in there. 2, it's a little harder to get people out, you gotta kill them. 5's easy to contest, pretty big. 3, kinda, I don't know, it's a little harder to get people out of. 4 is pretty hard to get people out of. There's basically only 2 entrances, one's a giant window, one's stairs. 2, I don't know, 2 you could probably figure out, if like it's a pretty equal team, it's probably gonna be pretty hard to get them out. And then 1, of course, is really easy. 5's pretty easy to get them out, but it's also easy to contest. So there's not too much like effort into putting like to get them out of 1 or 5. 5, you can kind of anchor between like where 5 is for 1, 2, and 3, and then 4 is far away, and then you get back to 5. So I think the last map I actually have, these are all the competitive maps, like the maps they've said for icons and UMG and stuff like that. The last one's Slums. Slums is hard one. You got the 1, like 1's pretty hard. You want to set someone up where it's like underneath 1, it's actually blue. It's a blue house. It's pretty easy. You want to set someone up there so they can't really flank around you. The X on the left, not the big X, they're all the same size X's, is actually a fountain. It's probably one of the best anchor spots. You definitely want to have somebody when you have 3 and 4, because if you keep that, you keep 4, and you want to send people, like I've been saying, you want to send people like at certain times, like 10 seconds left. When you have 2, you want to keep that one because you actually spawn there. You want to have someone set there when you're in 2. It's not really like too much of an anchor. You want to have someone when you're capping 1 and go into 2, like 20 seconds or something. You want to have someone there, so you spawn there. That's actually the better. I like it more because it's easier. It's 3 and 4. 3's kind of hard to get people out of. 4's pretty hard to get people out of, and whatever, 1's pretty easy, but there's a lot of head glitches there, and 2's pretty easy. There's like multiple ways to get in. So yeah, Hardpoint, it's pretty difficult if you just like don't know what you're doing, don't know what anchoring is. Don't try to jump in the anchoring role as your first position, especially when you don't know the maps of Hardpoint. Like I tried to do it, I was like, yeah, I guess I can anchor. I didn't really know what that was. Actually, I thought anchoring was being the guy that stays in the Hardpoint like the whole time, so I was like, alright, that's pretty easy, I can do that. I usually play OBJ, objective, if you don't know that. And so it's pretty difficult to anchor if you don't know it. You gotta make sure you have good gun skill to keep the people out, and you have to know when to move and stuff, because you don't want your team spawning all the way in the back when you just are switching over to the next one, because it would really ruin like a lot. And there's just a lot of stuff. You have to practice Hardpoint a lot, because it's just one of those game types. Since it's new to this game, it is King of the Hill basically, but it's new to like Call of Duty, and it's hard to like just adjust to it after you've been playing like Domination, because Domination's not nearly the same. Capture Flag and S&D, they're all like, those Capture Flag and S&D are still there. I can't really do too much for those like tips on those, because Hardpoint is new, and I struggled to find someone. I think Rambo, I think he's on Envious, had a video, but it was only for like certain maps, and I didn't want to just show you certain maps. I want to show you like all the maps, because the maps that I've shown are all the competitive maps, and I did show you guys some anchor spots that I know, especially the slums. I know for a fact those are like the common anchor spots. The other ones I've kind of used and found that they worked, and like just what for me, like practicing and trying, that's what I found anchoring like works. But enough for the fact, slums is definitely the best one to anchor. We actually win this game. So raid, I didn't really talk too much about raid since this is the gameplay. There's the 2-5 is really hard to get people out of, especially if you're in a team of 4. You just kind of keep shooting. We actually are almost done with this match. 2 is pretty easy. 1 is pretty easy. You can contest it pretty well. And the basketball court is pretty easy to defend, stuff like that. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. I hope these tips helped you. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I'll try to get you guys some more competitive videos. Just gotta find a team. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.